everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be talking about my February TBR, which will hopefully get me out of this awful reading slump. So first of all, I'm wearing a really pretty necklace that I got for Christmas. It says we're all mad here. Also, my fingers are not in my nose. They're on top of it. And I'm also wearing one of my merch shirts, which I felt like was very appropriate for this video. So it is my So Many Books, So Little Time shirt with all the book titles on it. So I'll have the link for my merch down below for you guys. Shameless self-plug. But today I'm going to be talking about some books that I hope that I can read, but I have been struggling with a capital S on reading recently. With reading, I wrote a book. So it's just been a time trying to get myself to read. I've just been lazy, lethargic, a drain on society in general. I don't know what it is. I just can't really motivate myself. I've just had such a struggle with the titles that I've been choosing. So I'm going to be very picky about what I'm choosing. So I didn't mention this in my January wrap up, but 2 of my New Year's resolutions went out the window. And one of those was to try and, what was it, actually follow my TBR. Didn't do that. That lasted for like 1 book, I think. And then the other one was to do my TBR challenges, but I think that I just need to try and read, but I've been just so stressed out about the fact that I can't keep up with all the new titles, and there's so many backlisted books that I want to get to, so it's just like so many things. But I'm hoping that King of Scars, which will be out by the time you see this video, I'm so excited! But I'm hoping that that will reignite my love of reading and my love of fantasy in particular, because that has been my struggle genre. So this pile of books here is really stuff that I'm hoping to read, but I don't know what will happen. One of the things that I did mention in my January wrap up though is that I'm reading my own book right now, so I don't know when I'll be able to finish this. Hopefully it won't take me too long. It's really not that long of a book, so it shouldn't take me too long, but I'm also revising along the way, so it might be a lengthy process, but I don't think I'm really going to be reading anything while I'm in the process of reading my own book. So that's definitely priority number 1. Priority number 2 is obviously King of Scars, because I'm so excited for it. Can you tell? I don't think you can tell. I feel like I'm just setting myself up for disappointment, but I trust Lee Bardugo and I don't think I will be disappointed. But just getting into the TBR, I guess, the next thing that I'm hoping to read is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas, which I have an arc of, which I'm so excited about, and I'm also going to the signing in Toronto on, I think it's February 24th, but I'll have the actual date on the screen if I'm wrong. If I'm not wrong, then there will be no date. But please let me know if you are going in Toronto, and hopefully I will see you there. But this is the second book by Angie Thomas. Her first book, The Hate U Give, was a smashing success, and I believe it's still on the New York Times bestseller list. And last tweet, I think she said it had been on for 99 weeks. So if it's still on there, which I'm sure it will be, then it will have hit 100 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, which is just so exciting, and I'm so happy for her. And I can't wait to read this next novel. I know it's set in the same neighborhood, which just seems so cool to me. She has like this whole universe for these characters built up in her head, and I love it so much, and I'm very excited to meet this new character and learn about some rapping and all of that. It sounds like it's going to be great. Now I'm kind of feeling like contemporary might be the way to go for me right now, so next I'm going to hopefully maybe try a book that I picked up on a complete whim, and that is Love a la Mode by Stephanie Kate Strom. I hadn't heard anything about this book, and then we got it in store, and the cover just really intrigued me because it was so cute. And then I opened it up and I found out it's about these 2 teen chefs that go to compete in this cooking competition in Paris, and that just sounds so cute and amazing, and I think that it is the recipe for an amazing romance. I didn't even do that intentionally! Nailed it! But yeah, I might end up reading this book and hopefully I'll like it. Now another genre that I haven't been struggling with, yay, is historical fiction, which is awesome because this is my favorite time of year to read it. So I have a couple on here, but I really could read just anything. So first we have Orphan Monster Spy by Matt Colleen. This is a historical fiction kind of mystery story, and it's about this Jewish girl who goes and infiltrates a Nazi boarding school. So it sounds like a very high stakes story, and like it could be a very powerful one. And speaking of powerful stories, I actually already started reading this one, so it's downstairs somewhere, but The Librarian of Auschwitz, which is written by Antonio Iturbe and translated by Lilith Thwaites, is another one that I'd really like to read. It's definitely one that I'd have to be in the right mindset for, because it's going to be a very intense story. It's actually based on the real life experiences of an Auschwitz prisoner. So I would love to read it and learn more about this girl and all that she did, but I would definitely need to be in the right mindset. Next is Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. This is a kind of steampunky, if I'm correct, World War I historical fiction, and I've read very few World War I historical fictions. I can only think of one, which is Fall of Giants by Ken Follett, and that was an adult one, so I don't think I've read anything in the YA genre that deals with that time period. Lots of stuff with World War II, nothing really with World War I, but this has like illustrations in it, which seems so cool, and I'm really eager to see what this story is all about because I've heard some really great things about it, so I'm hoping it'll be something that will capture my attention. And the final historical fiction is The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chokshi. This book had intrigued me, but then I was talking to Zoe and Hannah about it, and I guess there's been some buzz surrounding it. I kind of missed it, but when I actually delved into it and found out more about the story, it sounded really cool, so I think Zoe and Hannah and I might buddy read this one, but it's set in Paris in like 1889, I believe. Yes, and it follows this whole journey and expedition for this magical artifact, and I was actually flipping through and there's like different pattern things going on there. There was an equation that I saw. Like, it just seems like it could be a really cool sort of Indiana Jones sort of thing. Next, I have a whole bunch of fantasy because that is what is making up the bulk of my TBR pile right now, so that's really where I'd like to kind of chop off some of the things that I'm not actually gonna read. So if I do get back into fantasy, then these are the books that I'm hoping I will read. So first is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I think this could be a book that would help get me back into the genre because I've heard nothing but great things about it. I read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson in December and I fell in love with that story. So I think this is another one where I could really enjoy it, especially because everyone seems to have liked it. So hopefully the hype is not lying to me. Next, I have two books by the same author, and that is Evelyn Sky. So I have The Crown's Fate, which is the sequel to the Crowns game, and I need to read this. It has been way too long. And then Circle of Shadows, which just came out recently. So The Crown's Fate I've had for so long, and I really enjoyed the first book, so there's no reason for me to be putting this off. I just really need to get to these, especially The Crown's Fate. I can't believe I haven't read it yet because I really loved the first book, so I don't know why I've been putting it off, but no more. I will definitely be reading it very soon. I hope. I say that, but like, my motivation has been absolute crap. But then Circle of Shadows, it sounds very interesting, and I'm interested to see what her writing will be like in a completely different world. Next is The Wicked King by Holly Black. I had the arc of this for quite a while, and I just never ended up getting to it, so now that the book is actually out, I have no more excuses, but I know why I've been putting it off, and it's because I've heard from a couple of people that it's a little bit boring in the beginning or maybe in the middle. It's boring at some point, and I just know when I'm feeling slumpy that that's not what I'm going to want to read, so I might give the audiobook a try, but we'll see. Next is The Cold Is in Her Bones by Pieternel van Arsdale. Something about this story, I think that it's kind of like a fantastical, sort of gives me magical realism fairy tale vibes. That was a lot of adjectives, but I did start reading this one and I was intrigued by the story. I just ended up putting it down, which has been happening a lot recently, so I would like to fully commit myself to it. And finally is Wicked Like a Wildfire by Lana Popovich. This is a fantasy that, once again, kind of seems like a magical realism to me for whatever reason, but it's another one where I started it and was really getting into the writing because it's very like flowery and weird at the same time, but I just put it down once again. That has just been an ongoing trend that I never used to struggle with. When I would start a book, I would see it the whole way through, but nothing has really been gripping me or capturing my attention, and I'm hoping that that will change. So in addition to these books, I'm hoping that in February I will be able to film my try a chapter tag for like all the fantasy and all of that is on my shelves. In my recent unhaul where I asked if you guys would want to see that, a lot of you really wanted that, so it's definitely something I would like to do to try and get rid of all of the books that I just don't know if they are worth my time, because unfortunately I need to accept the fact that I can't read everything. But I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, well, I can't read everything, so then I just end up reading nothing, and it's very unfortunate. So hopefully February, even though it's a short month, I will be able to get back into things. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button and then click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I put up new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can also follow me on all of my social media. All of my handles and links and all of that stuff will be down below for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!